And I'm back with more Spirit of Justice. My voice is finally starting to feel better, so hopefully I can get these recordings without, my voice just going yeah. But I've got a couple of episodes in me today, so let's see what I can get to. We're going to cross-examine Rayfa, who was a witness to Inga's murder. Or at least knew that he was going to where he was murdered. On the day of the murder, I was gazing out the courtyard from my second-floor veranda. Around 2:30, I saw my father heading towards Amara's tomb. Then at about 2:45, I saw Bobhead and the company enter the courtyard. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered about 2:30. Second floor veranda? She must be talking about that house facing Inga's private residence. So that's the location from which you saw your father? About 2:30? Yes. And shortly after that, you people arrived at the... You people? You people! What are you talking about, you people? Arrived at the royal residence. So, after the minister entered Amara's tomb at 2:30, no one went in or out until the murder was discovered. The tomb was closed to outsiders, so no one could have snuck in before the murder. That rules out any possibility of a third party lying in wait for my poor husband. Well, so you'd like us to believe. Now hear me, you useless lawyer. Cease this charade and bow before me. For I, Queen Khura'in, shall finally have your head. Forgive me, Your Eminence, but first let's allow the defense to question the witness. Press the second statement. Press the third statement.
Hold it!
Did your father seem different or troubled in any way? Let me think. Oh, there was one unusual thing. There was? A shriek emanated from within my father's quarters. After which I witnessed him bolt outside, his countenance drained of usual color. He screamed as he was looking pale? What do you suppose happened? I know not. Perhaps he had a bad dream. Maybe it was a nightmare being raked over the coals by the queen? It seems our young lawyer wishes to hasten his journey to the Twilight Realm. Sorry, that was rude. Does the defense believe the witness's last statement to be important? I believe it is. I would like the witness to add it to her testimony.
Hold it!
Why do you think he screamed? Was he surprised by someone who didn't belong there? Did anyone else come out? I didn't see anyone else. Just my father. Unless statement was seriously lacking in conviction. Should I press her on this? Your benevolence! Let's have some details! The more the better! Details, you say? For example, are you sure you didn't see anyone in the royal residence before 2:30? Well? Is that a yes or a no? Ah! The foreign devil! I've been gazing upon the courtyard about 2 yesterday, yet I saw none other than my father. If only I had stopped him. I think you struck a nerve, or obliterated one. Maybe I pressed a little too hard? Still, the last statement seemed a little off. But, so you didn't see anyone except your father in the courtyard after 2. Please add that to your testimony. Let's see, Alby's statement.
Objection!
Your benevolence. You're covering for someone, aren't you? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not gonna like this. Well, the thing is, I have a statement that you might find interesting. It's from a witness who claims that around 2 p.m. his dog got loose and ran around the palace courtyard. That's when the little fellow stole the hat from someone. That's Nana's. Nothing, never mind. Uh-oh. You fool of a daughter. Seems the princess made a blunder. So let me get this straight. This is Nana's hat? Which means she had to have been in the royal residence around 2? If so, you had to have seen Nana sometime between 2 p.m. yesterday. No! Please, tell us what you really saw. It is as you say, Hornhead. I saw Nana. And I saw that the dingbat dog steal her hat from her in front of my father's residence. I knew it. Why didn't you say so in the first place? Because my mother told me not to. What? Care to explain, Your Eminence? I requested she withhold said information, as it's no relevance to this case.
Objection!
You don't get to decide! If you disagree, then prove that it is relevant to the case at hand. Oh, I will. Your benevolence, please tell us everything you witnessed when you saw Nana. All right. When I saw that dingbat dog attack Nana, I ran to help. I raced from my second-floor veranda into the courtyard. Wait, that means that while you were coming down, you took your eyes off the courtyard. Yes, but only for a moment. This is crucial testimony. If you took your eyes off the courtyard, it means somebody else could have entered the tomb without you ever knowing. Your benevolence. Are you sure no one else was there? Yes. She's hiding something. She's hiding something again. What about Nana? Were you able to help her? When I got down to the courtyard, Nana was... She was gone. Gone? And I never saw her again after that. Any idea what happened? The dingbat dog must have gobbled her up. I seriously doubt that. How could Nana just disappear while Rayfa wasn't looking? Rayfa must have known something. The only question is what? Where she disappeared to? Huh. Do you have any idea where Nana disappeared to? What do you mean? Well, during the time you took your eyes off the courtyard, someone could have headed into the tomb. And it just so happens that Nana disappeared right at that moment. No. Wait, you think Nana had something to do with the murder? I don't think we can rule it out. Sounds like something that kept Nana occupied since early morning. Plus, she'd been right there before the murder, so she seemed to vanish in thin air. You're right. And since she's Rayfa's attendant, she could come and go as she pleased within the palace grounds. Could Rayfa's attendant really be the killer? But that would mean... First my father, now Nana? These were the people I trusted most. How could this be? Do not heed their lies. Lawyers are a foul breed, quick to claim that the third party is to blame for a crime. Nana did not enter the tomb. That much is certain. How can you be so sure? When Nana's hat was stolen, that crazed cur spilled an urn full of water upon my husband's doorstep. Is that not right, Rayfa? Yes, it is. While that dingbat dog was tugging on Nana's hat, it tipped over the urn. The bottoms of her shoes would have been soaked with water. And if she had truly headed to the tomb with wet shoes, she would have left shoe prints along the way. But the only shoe prints that were found belonged to my husband, Inga. Then... That's right. Nina never did go to the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters. How do you know? It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters. Shoe prints that belonged to Nana. That's right, Edgeworth and I did see some shoe prints in there. Now do you understand? Nana could not possibly have gone into the tomb. And that supposed third person at the crime scene is but a figment of your imagination. Another glorious deduction! All hail the genius of her eminence Queen Khura'in! Bow down before her glory, witness lawyer!
Urdi Hara Karan!
Did those guys fanboy any harder? Is this really true? Did Nana go into the tomb? Excuse me, but... Mr. Wright? Your benevolence, what time was it when the dog attacked Nana? I believe it was 2:15. I see. Apollo, if Nana entered Inga's private quarters around 2:15, and Inga came racing out at 2:30, pale-faced and screaming, then... I know what you're getting at. That might explain his scream. Would the defense please share their theory regarding Justice Minister Inga's scream? Certainly, Your Majesty. Minister Inga screamed because he was attacked by Nana? Oh, shit. Maybe he was attacked by Nana. That would explain the Justice Minister's private quarters as the real scene. This would make the private quarters the real scene of the crime. Does your idiocy know no bounds? The minister's body was found at the tomb. Or are you suggesting that the body was moved? Do I think the minister's body was moved? I think the possibility exists. Considering the fact that the body was found in the tomb, I'd say it's possible. What utter nonsense. Rayfa had been watching the courtyard. Yet you would suggest that someone could have transported the body unnoticed. You have a point there. In that case, I'd say there's no way the body was moved. After all, there was an awful lot of blood in the tomb. I understand if the scream was in reaction to Nana's attack, but Inga died in the tomb. We need to explain how those two realities could coincide. And we're supposed to do that. Oh, maybe. Maybe where he was stabbed and where he died were two completely different locations. What do you mean? It's just, let's look at this as simply as possible. If the minister's body wasn't moved, he might have been stabbed by Nana in his private quarters, but then died in the tomb. Huh? I see. On one hand, it seems plausible, and on the other, it seems decidedly implausible. Prosecutor Satmati, what is this fool babbling on about now? Is this a riddle from one of those fortune cookies Americans seem so fond of? Perhaps, but I believe he himself does not know what he means to say. In all likelihood, it was a poor attempt to confuse us. We should simply ignore him.
Objection!
I wasn't finished yet! Hold off on the analysis, would you? The autopsy report never stated that the minister's death was instantaneous. He could have conceivably moved from one place to another after being stabbed. Oh my, are you suggesting he ran all the way to the tomb with a knife stuck in his back? Well, yeah, that's the gist of it. In short, Minister Inga saw Nana with a knife, let out a scream, and when he turned his back to her to flee, that's when he was stabbed from behind. Well, Your Majesty, does my theory hold water?
Insolence!
How dare you bore me like this? Huh? You are a humorless moron, spewing an endless stream of unamusing drivel. I wasn't trying to be funny. Prosecutor, enlighten this ignorant clown in lawyer's clothing. Your Eminence. Nayuda! You dull, slow-witted, putrid-minded lawyer. Perhaps you would be too stupid to notice had you been stabbed in the back. But a normal person would have noticed due to the excruciating pain. Hold on! Allow me to teach you the meaning of pain. Just stop it! Stop it! Ow! Here's the point. Only most people would notice a dagger in their back. I doubt someone would ignore pain like this. Still, in that case, I wouldn't put normally as what we should emphasize. Take another look at the court record. Right. There's gotta be something to explain this. Suck! Anyway, there's a reason Inga didn't feel any pain, and the defense will submit evidence to prove it. Very well. Please present your evidence. Why didn't Justice Minister Inga notice he'd been stabbed?
Take that!
Those are my father's painkillers. The defense will explain the significance. Minister Inga suffers from terrible back pain, so he often injected himself with these. We're told that one shot in the back would make all his pain go away. With this, it's easy to explain what happened. Don't tell me you didn't know about these, Your Eminence. Huh? You can't mean. Minister Inga was stabbed in the back, close to where he usually injected the painkiller. Therefore, it's entirely possible he hadn't noticed he'd been stabbed. What? What's this? Then, are you suggesting Justice Minister Inga really ran off with a knife protruding within his back? I am, Your Majesty. So that when I saw my father, he had a knife sticking out of him? With that cape of his, I couldn't see the back very well, but the knife was there. It was just plunged in deep. You wouldn't even notice it under the cape. Therefore, when you saw your father, he was already dead. Murdered by Nana in his private quarters. Pukunka! Holy Mother of Khura'in! Are we dealing with the living dead here? Well, technically he wasn't dead yet. I know it's hard to believe, but this is only a possible sequence of events. And once Mr. Minister Ingo arrived at the tomb, he could have removed the knife and dropped dead from blood loss. Nana killed my father? There must be some mistake! The defense would like to call Nana to the stand! You seek to drag an innocent old woman to the stand with no proof whatsoever. Well, there's no real proof, but... What a tangled web of expedient lies you weave. I can no longer tell fact from fiction. What shall I believe it now? I'm sorry, Rayfa. All I've done is confuse you. But I've got a sneaking suspicion Nana's involved in this one way or another. Just when I thought we'd blown this case wide open. Well, there's no turning back now. You fool of a lawyer. I know why you're so desperate to prove the accused innocent. You do? Yes, because he faces public execution if proven guilty. As shall you, under the stipulations of the Defense Culpability Act. From the moment you accept this case, you have no choice but to fight for your lives. No, the simple fact is I've always believed that Dirk was innocent. Bah. Still you cling to that pretense. Very well. I shall offer you a bargain. If you would admit that the accused is guilty right here, right now, I shall overlook your crime of abetting him, and you will not be subject to execution. Is this some sort of joke? Far from it. As Queen, I have the power to grant pardons, even to criminals like you. And with the wave of my hand, I can even reduce the severity of a sentence. Perhaps even for Dirk, should you be willing to cooperate. She wasn't kidding when she said she's the law here. But to flaunt that power in our faces like that, it's just wrong. Forget all that's transpired in our kingdom and return to your own country in peace. Well, will you abandon your defense of the accused and accept my generous offer? If I don't take this deal, we'll be executed along with Dirk if we're found guilty. What should I do? Nice try, but it looks like you don't know what justice is made of. We won't kowtow to threats like that. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, and I can't back down now. I don't want to drag you into this, so don't worry, I'm with you. To the bitter end, if need be. Well, I can't say I'm used to it. This ain't exactly my first rodeo. So keep on fighting, Apollo. You'll hear no objection from me. You nincompoops! You'll die if you lose this case. Why would you even entertain the notion of continuing? I believe that Dirk is innocent, that's why. And besides, trials exist to give truth a chance to get out in the open. You can't give up just because you're afraid of some punishment. Even if that punishment is death. Does it not frighten you, Hornhead? Who wouldn't be scared? I mean, just thinking about it. Makes me weak at the knees, to be honest. But as a lawyer, I have a duty to protect my client. I can't just abandon that. A duty you're willing to die for. And yet duty. It's a heavy burden, all right. Rayfa looks like she's really struggling. but it's no surprise, considering the torrent of painful truths she's had to face. Very well, then. If the defense is prepared to face the death sentence under the DC Act, then I see no reason not to continue with the proceedings. But I must admit, I see no grounds for doubting the accused's guilt. Unless the defense has further evidence that would indicate a different suspect. Do we even have anything like that? Well, lawyer, do you have any new evidence you care to present? Or shall I have the executioner start his preparations? She thinks she can't do this. She's got another thing. If she thinks I can't do this, she's got another thing coming. But first, I've got some serious thinking to do. I'd say the new evidence is indicating a new, different suspect does not exist. Such evidence does not exist. Just as I thought. I was hoping you'd present meaningless evidence allowing me to claim your head. Glad I didn't walk headfirst into that one. So what now, Apollo? Well, unless we can prove Nena killed Inga, this trial's over. And so are we. Isn't there still a way to get the proof we need? Even without evidence? You know, a key means of obtaining testimony here in Khura'in? Huh? Wait, are you actually suggesting... Certainly won't be easy, but it's worth a try. Your Majesty! A crucial step in uncovering the truth behind this case has to be taken in this trial. But I'm positive I can back up our claim with this one step. You mean you would be able to prove that Nena killed Justice Minister Inga? And just how do you propose to do that? With the help of a certain someone. You need help? From someone? Well, I can't imagine who it would be. But I suppose I must ask. Whose help do you need to uncover the truth?
Take that!
But this is... Me? Here in Khura'in, legal proceedings include the viewing of the victim's final moments. But that requires your benevolence's help. Such information is just as vital as any other piece of conclusive evidence. If you're right about this, Rayfa's power should enable us to see the very moment Nena stabbed Inga. It'll be hard to watch your father's murder, but it's the only way to uncover the truth. Your benevolence! We need you and your power! You need me?
Objection!
Wretched simpleton! Did you not see what happened in the previous attempt? You would only succeed in wasting more time. Or is your goal to make her collapse again? The princess said she wasn't prepared earlier. Besides, it's her duty as royal priestess. I'd say it's all up to her now. Am I prepared? Prepared to fulfill my duty? Isn't a Diviination Seance required in all trials anyway? If so, I'd imagine there would be a problem if handing out a verdict without one. Indeed, it would be problematic. Under Khura'inese law, a seance must be conducted before a verdict is reached.
Such insolence!
Must you try my patience so? If I must dispense with the vexing law, then dispense with it I shall. Huh? As ruling sovereign of Khura'in, I proclaim the following. Henceforth, the Diviination Seance shall be optional. What? She's the power to do that? She just rewrote the law with a flourish of her hand? Mother, I do not wish for the trial to end like this. It is as the defense said. I must not neglect my duty simply because I'm afraid. I shall go through with it this time. I will conduct the seance once
Such
more.
insolence!
Rayfa, do not be fooled by his lordly guile. You are not prepared to witness your father's death. But Hornhead needs my help. Rayfa, did you not tell me earlier? Did you not tell me you were prepared? But despite your grandiose posturing, you collapsed in a most piteous fashion. Even worse, you have erred in your insights of late. For has not the barbed head overturned them more than once? You cannot be trusted to keep your word, nor can you reveal the truth of your insights. So I say to you, begone! This sacred hall of justice has no need for such a worthless royal priestess. Worthless? Wow, she could say that to her own daughter? Oh, Mother, you think me worthless?
Objection!
Your benevolence says she can do it, doesn't she? I don't see why you have to condemn her so before she's even made the attempt. Very well, horned devil. If you really are so bent on having a seance, I shall give my consent. Really? However, should Rayfa fail once more, you two and the accused will all be executed on the spot. Come again? This is proving to be far more entertaining than I anticipated. Well, lawyer, what say you? Will you wager your life and call on Rayfa to perform a divination seance? I don't think you're worthless, your benevolence. Far from it, in fact. If you say you can do it, then I believe in you! Hornet, I do not understand. If I fail, you will be put to death. I know you collapsed during a previous attempt. Ugh. Oh, God. I can't even imagine how terrible it must have been. But despite that, you are willing to try again. I have faith in that conviction, in that courage. My courage? So she was doomed to fail if she didn't have the courage to perform the seance. But it looks like she's got the determination to try again. Right. That's a bet I'm willing to take. But it is as Mother said. I have erred in my insights as of late. Not only have I failed to reveal the truth, I have also contributed to the false accusations. Knowing that, can you still say you believe in me?
Objection!
I wouldn't take stock in those words. Despite what your mother says, I don't think you've made any errors at all. Huh? In the trials I've been a part of here in Khura'in, I would have never proven my client's innocence without your seances. Because even though they didn't always reflect the absolute truth, the insight they provided served as vital leads to finding the truth. Vital leads? My seances? So please, try to perform the Diviination Seance one more time.
Objection!
Rayfa, stop this madness. It's for your own good. You are ill-prepared to face your father's death. Go. Leave this sacred hall at once. No. What did you just say? I said no, Mother! I am the royal priestess of Khura'in. I have no need for you now. Even if you do not need me. Hornhead and his Hall of Justice do! He proved it to me by risking his own life. It is because of him that I now understand. The Diviination Seance is my sacred duty. I must fulfill it no matter the risk. Your benevolence. Mother taught me that the Diviination Seance was a mirror reflecting naught but the truth. But I began to have my doubts after Bobhead disproved the insights I offered. And now, I don't even know who or what to trust anymore. Father, Mother, even Nana. I had believed in them over all others. But I finally know now. I know in what I can trust. The Royal Priestess must debate each seance with the presiding lawyer and prosecutor. So they can be interpreted properly. That is how I believe trials in Khura'in should function. Therefore, the Hall of Justice needs me. It is my power that leads trials towards the truth. That is my sacred duty, and I will never shirk from it again. That right there, your benevolence, is the product of what you learned in your struggles. The truth that you realized with your own strength. As my sacred duty, I must ensure that it is fulfilled. I must have the courage and resolve to see it through. Your Eminence, the Royal Priestess says she can conduct the seance. I see no grounds for you to forbid it. Unless, of course, you're worried that it might reveal something you find inconvenient. Mother! I am done letting you have your way! Rayfa, you would actually rebel against me, your mother and queen. Though I am scared to see my father's death, I must face my fear. That is what Hornhead has taught me here today. Rayfa.
I am the Royal Priestess Rayfa Padma Khura'in. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
Your Eminence. It seems the priestess is more grown up than you thought. Rayfa. Well then, let us proceed with the Diviination Seance. Ooh. Oh, Jesus. That was intense, and it's not getting any less intense. But I'm going to stop it for here, take a break, and then get back to the next episode. We're making progress to the end, and it's great. And I'll see you next time.